Brisbane City for this one today after some pretty wet weather the last few days, but things are absolutely spot on out here today, and the referee waiting to get things underway is Eddie Ward, and he's had a few Broncos matches as of late.
He has, Bill, and Eddie Ward always plays things right down the middle, so we'll be out to see a nice open game today, both sides capable of some brilliant attack.
All right, just talking about how do you see it, David?
Bill, I think Brisbane are capable of coming up with a win, but as I said in the opener, possession very important. Both sides are good with the ball, and I think if you can dominate possession, you'll dominate the game.
All right, it's the Broncos in possession just inside their own quarter, and taking it up over there is Gavin Allen. He's a welcome addition to the side today, but unlucky, I thought, to miss out on State of Origin.
Yes, and he's been injured in that tackle. It's a heavy one. Eddie Ward will come in now. The tackle's well and truly affected, so there'll be a restart. A head knock there. He'll be wishing that he was sitting in the crowd. Hit heavily in the tackle. Brokenshire in there and rams him into the ground along with Geordie Peets.
Now Kieran Wallace had a bit to say to the referee about stopping play, because obviously Allen's in a bit of trouble and now they have stopped it.
Concerned about a neck injury, I think, Bill, and he was put heavily into the turf, and obviously there'll be no chances taken. He's just making sure he's got movement in his fingers, which he has. Kenny Ra there just steadying the head on either side.
Talking away at the moment, but gee, that'll be a tragic loss if they without Gavin Allen here today. He's one of the players they certainly would have been looking to provide a bit of muscle there up front.
It felt very awkwardly.
Don't take any chances with these.
Now, they haven't got one of those bloody orthopaedic...
No, you need one of those special ones where you slip the slats under.
Now, I can't believe they haven't got one of those here at the ground. That's where they're going to lift him. Jeez.
They should put a special brace on straight away. How easy, Jesse will push the fence over.
The doctor out. Mate, they shouldn't move him.
And I think he's all right though. He's moved his legs and his hands there. I don't think he's in a lot of trouble, but it doesn't hurt to be sure.
Jeez, he got driven heavy, didn't he? They seemed to go over the top of him. He went. Yeah. Thank God for that.
Yeah, that's it. Collapsible thing.
His legs are up. His legs are up.
Can he hold it?
Now, have they got that neck brace?
No. I reckon he'd be alright, I'd say. No, they are going to put him on it.
Worry, wouldn't it?
Yeah, what would be flashing through your mind?
Yeah. Don't move, Gavin, just stay there.
footing for all concerned.
Well, everyone's getting cold now. Well, 25 seconds in. 50. 55. 55.
This is where we're not live.
Especially with the shorts pulled up.
If the legs aren't long enough as it is.
See new blokes in first grade.
Long delay, isn't it?
7 minutes. Doesn't matter though, mate.
No, time is doesn't mean too much at the moment. I thought it was rather profound.
Jonathan Davis has got the Celine Bar suntan.
Yeah. We're bringing another stretcher out. Don't tell me this thing doesn't work.
That's not right.
You see there before, like all the players have moved away. Now they're wandering back again.
Yeah, then they're going to lift
that stretcher up onto the other one.
That's not bad. Unless you fall.
No, that's all right. They've done that well.
Well, you saw them on a bit stable, I think.
Yes.
That's terrible.
So Gavin Allen, tragic luck here for him at Lang Park. Only 55 seconds of the match had gone, and he's now being carried from the field, and a lot of worry there about a neck injury, obviously. Here it is.
Yes, Bill, the big driving tackle there. Gavin Allen going backwards over the top of the tackle. Now, obviously, that caused the problem, his head actually hitting the ground, but he's had the very best of attention there. And the doctor, the Broncos doctor, right beside him, and they've been very, very careful to ensure to immobilise the neck. He had full movement in his arms and legs, so obviously precaution right to the fore. And he has been replaced there by Big Andrew Testman, who was a fresh reserve.
So we're just waiting for Gavin Allen to clear the line over there. And play does resume now. So it's the Broncos in possession. Dowling taking it up. He'll be put to ground about 25 metres out from the Broncos line. So for these players out there, David, that was what, something like 5 or 6 minutes.
Very off-putting, Bill. You could see both sides initially show concern for Gavin Allen. Then they tried to get their own wits about them by moving away while the medical staff attended to him. But not only mentally can that be off-putting, but also physically players normally tuned to come out right at that moment and get into it. There's a chance for cooling off a little bit. And players did a little bit of stretching in that delay as well.
So that's McCracken playing it now, about 30 metres out from the Canterbury line. No points on the board as yet. 1.5 minutes of the match has gone by. So as we said at the start of this game, a lot at rest here for some of these young fellas. A kick downfield there by McGrady.
Especially this young fellow, Bill, Julian O'Neill, ex-Australian schoolboy, big raps on him, and to put him straight at fullback, there's no more pressure than the number one.
And other matches here today in the under-21s President Cup. It was a win there for Canterbury, 32 points to 20 after the Broncos led 12-6 at half-time. And the reserve grade, the Broncos came away with a win there, 32 points to 24, which I would imagine, David, would go down as quite a confidence booster for the A-grade side here today.
Yes, that reserve grade side has not been in sensational form over the last month or so, but they're just starting to get it back together again. A couple of wins back-to-back, very important.
So that's Madison getting it outside. Gilmeister's going to be wrapped up.
Madison down injured. Slow to his feet.
Very slow back onto his feet. Back to Conway. Oh, that's a bad kick this time. On the final tackle. The ball's allowed to bounce. Comes back to Kieran Walters. He puts a little kick downfield. And Canterbury in possession about 30 metres out from their own line. So down there on the touchline, let's say good afternoon for the first time to Tony Durkin. How are you, Durko?
Well, thanks, Bill, and magnificent conditions here at Lang Park, and how good Lang Park is as a wet weather ground now that drainage work has been done. But as we've been saying, the Broncos without 8 of their State of Origin stars, one of them with me now, Willie Kahn. And Willie, it's been a great mid-season for you after being dropped earlier on.
Yeah, it's good to come back from a bit of a disappointment, and now we've just got to carry on from here, I think, and hope the boys can get up today.
Willie, good feeling in the State of Origin camp despite the fact that Graham Lowe's not with you?
Oh, no, yeah, we talked to Graham I think it was on Friday over the phone, and I think he's got his word across the wally to tell us what to do, and we'll be looking forward to seeing him on Monday.
Mate, you're pretty confident about the boys today as they go on the charge. Back to you, Bill.
Yeah, that's Renoff coming up to the quarter line. Got the pass from Plowman. He was trying to get away to Joey Kilroy, but it put to the ground right on the quarter line. So we'll just take it from here, get back to you in a moment. Madison getting it outside to Conway, then away to Johnny Platt. Platt trying to break his way through, but it's going to be wrapped up in the tackle of Gillies. Just inside the quarter line. O'Neill comes up as dummy half. And they keep it going. This is Tessman. Looking around for support, but no one at home. This is the final tackle now. So from the play, the ball back to Madison. He's going to run it out. No, now there's the little kick. Bounces off a Canterbury player. It is going to be a Canterbury ball. Back now with Tony Durkin.
Yeah, Willie, you were saying earlier up air that you're pretty confident about the boys today.
Yeah, I think a lot of the fellas are playing in reserve grade all year. We're looking forward to put on a big show, and I reckon that they can probably come home with about 14-point win.
Good on you, mate. Well, let's hope you're right. All the best for Wednesday night.
Thanks, Tony.
Willie Kahn, who is in great form at the moment, and he's hit his form at the right time.
On the verge of green and gold, Bill. I think just one good match in State of Origin 3, I think will assure him of his debut for Australia.
So now it's Canterbury in possession. No points on the board at the moment here at Lang Park. Kick downfield. Julian O'Neill has had a bit of work to do, but he can't get to this one. It finds touch about midway between the quarter and halfway down in Broncos territory. So at this stage, it's 0-0 here at Lang Park.
Back here at Lang Park, David, it appears that Julian O'Neill might have taken a heavy knock when he was taken in that tackle. He seemed a bit sluggish on his feet out there.
Yes, I think the second time he ran the ball up, he stepped and went at the defence. Well, here's Plowman again, busting them.
Straight over the top of Ferry Lamb, and to the applause of the big crowd here at Lang Park, takes it up to halfway. Now Tony Curry, away for Platt. He was wrapped up well and truly by Patmore. The Broncos just inside the attacking half. Walters out of dummy half. Unloaded the ball to Conway. And Conway obviously the first choice of the kicker in general play in this match here at Lang Park today. Now Madison, playing in the 5/8 role today. The last time he did that, David, was back in the first season against Canterbury when they got their biggest home loss here, 36 points to 16.
He'll have no trouble fulfilling that role, Fordo, I don't think, because he's a busy player. He's a bit of a link man, and it would seem that he's playing mainly first off the ruck in general play as well, with Johnny Platt playing a little bit wider.
Well, this is a big test for Jonathan Davis, but he took it magnificently. Platt arrived to wrap him up, but he handled the pressure well.
Great tack there by Jonathan Davis, and Johnny Platt, who'd been onside, came through to make a good tackle.
So Canterbury pegged down inside their own quarter line. Beats out of dummy half, taken solidly by Gilmeister. As Tony and Billy mentioned, ideal conditions for rugby league here today. That's a poor pass, particularly at this end of the ground, and Patmore did well to wrap it up. So it's the final tackle for the Bulldogs. McGrady with the kick downfield. The pressure was put on by Johnny Platt. The ball will find touch. Now, did that come off John Platt? Wait for the touch, judge. No, the ball into touch. No, it's been touched.
Eddie Ward has signalled touched, so he's going to give the feed to Canterbury Bankstown. That's surprising. Of course, that is Eddie Ward's decision. Of course, the kick taken from midfield. Great chance for the Bulldogs.
Now, McGrady. And Lamb and McGrady appear to have swapped that role as well. Lamb fed the scrums. McGrady was standing in the 5/8 role. Now Scotty Tronk playing against his old club.
Not the first time he has played against the Broncos. He was with Wests in the very first season. The Broncos were in the Sydney Winfield Cup and had a great game against Brisbane that day.
5 games last year with the Broncos. Scotty Tronk on the blind side is the danger man McGrady. He's a tremendous footballer. He beats O'Neill and he scores the try. It's a great start to Canterbury Bankstown. You can't take your eyes off him. He scored 12 tries in 16 games last year. He scored 5 tries so far in 1991, and he struck a telling blow here against the Broncos.
Brilliant effort by McGrady as he flashed down the blind side. Testman couldn't get near him, neither could Renew. Look at the confidence in his own pace. Julian O'Neill was stood up and then just reaches out to score a good try. Let's see how he does it as he comes across the back of the ruck. Testman had to move up there. Brenoff was in a bit of trouble because he had a few players outside. And then the acceleration. He goes away from fullback and then reaches out, just manages to keep himself up. Eddie Ward on the spot to award the try. That's a fine effort by Ewan McGrady.
Yeah, he's a very capable player, this fellow. Look at him, slipped through the gap, and it was danger, 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 and no chance of holding him out. Went close to touching just prior to that line, but he was able to scramble over in the tackle of Joey Kilroy, and that's the first points on the board here for Canterbury.
Yeah, getting a bit of refresher there from trainer Larry Britton. And his versatility is also one of his key points. He's played at fullback, halfback and 5'8" so far this year for the Bulldogs. In fact, he's played in every one of the games in the 1991 season. And Jonathan Davis, he's been a great acquisition. He's kicked 10 from 13 so far in his first 2 games for the Bulldogs. And this one 5 metres in from touch. In front of the McCall stand.
No, it's not a good one. It's under the crossbar. But Canterbury lead by 4 points to 0. And about 9 minutes of play gone in this first half.
Well, an interesting statistic. In the opening 9 minutes of this match, no penalties so far, 8 kicks in general play. And Canterbury have struck the first blow. And the interesting aspect about that, Bill, I think the first time they were in the attacking half and they came up with the points.
Yes, they've got a nice start here after just 10 minutes of play. They lead by 4 points to 0. Taking it up over there is Brokenshire. He'll be put over about 30 metres out from the Canterbury line now. See what they can do.
Release. Brokenshire is down injured.
Yes, he's down on one knee there. Here's a kick downfield by McGrady. O'Neill going back. But it's going to be into touch again. Got away from Plowman over there. And a couple of good kicks there from McGrady.
Yes, early in the piece, Canterbury quite happy to kick downfield for Julian O'Neill to run it back, but now angling more for touch.
Well, the Broncos, David, were punished by that good marker defence. Path got out to try and charge that kick out earlier. Touched it in flight. They got the feed and scored the try.
Yes, and Canterbury a side that really benefit from that sort of roll on. Brisbane are the same, and as we say, possession will be so vital in this match. Also, the big men are going to play a part. You've got Dowling and Testman out there now. Brisbane, if anything, lack a little bit of size without those 2 on the field. They want to utilise them, though, because a couple of times they've tried to wrap the ball strongly, and Kieran Walters has elected to leave them as dummy runners. Well, they'll soon get sick of that.
That's Walters going away from the dummy half spot.
Lost it.
He has lost it.
And got it back, though, Bill, I think.
He sure has. Referee Eddie Ward was up there to have a good look at it. This is Gene Miles. A lot depending on Miles here today. Need a big one from him. A great second half against Cronulla last week. And he finally got the penalty. Worked hard on it.
Yes, he stumbled and fumbled around there for quite some time. Eventually, Eddie Ward's patience was at an end. Chance for Bob Conway for 2.
Well, he kicked very well last week against Cronulla. Was in a bit of doubt earlier this week with a finger problem. 5 from 5, 100% record last week. And he should be able to kick this one.
Well within his range. Conway, I think, has actually a broken knuckle, I think, or an actual bone in the hand. So he's done well to be out there.
So taking plenty of time here. And there's Alan Langer up in the grandstand together with Andrew G. We saw Wayne Bennett a short time ago with Dale Shearer behind him. So all of the State of Origin players out here to check out this match this afternoon. So Conway has the ball placed. Big, strong young fellow. Has had a bit of injury problems. He's had a couple of knocks in the head. Could have put him out for a bit, but he came back very strongly last week. With a faultless display of goal kicking. Let's see if they can get the Broncos away to a big start here this afternoon. Here's the kick now. It is on its way. It's going to be waved away, though. Way to the left-hand side of the upright. So the score remains Canterbury leading by 4 points to 0. Out here from the quarter line. Back to Joey Kilroy. And a big roar from the crowd as Kilroy takes it. He sets up to the halfway mark. And eventually put down up there on the tackle, coming back from the tackle. Well, the match really hasn't got going at this stage.
It was a bit flat, Bill, and I think cannot be underestimated the effect of Gavin Allen departing the scene in the first minute. But now the players just starting to warm good, as is the crowd.
That's Madison. Put over 30 metres out now from the Canterbury line. Canterbury lead by 4 points to 0. Conway right over the top. Taken out there by Tony Curry. Gets it away this time to O'Neill. O'Neill trying to bustle his way through, but it's going to be wrapped up over there by Gillies, getting eventually underneath him.
Confident start for the young fellow, Bill, isn't it?
Lost the ball in the tackle, right?
His endeavour to get to his feet quickly. There was plenty of attention being given to him. Lamb had done well to get across and cover the fence there. And then Julian O'Neill just simply losing the ball.
Lamb with his hands up. I had nothing to do with it. So it's Canterbury in possession now, 25 metres out from their own line. Just waiting Tony Durkin checking for us to see about Gavin Allen. He wants the field after only 50 seconds of play here today. So now it's Canterbury looking a little bit draggled at the moment. Gillies with it. Good defence there. Getting up is Darling. So back to McGrady, who puts the boot underneath it. He's the danger man who scored the opening try, and another good kick for touch.
Very good kick. He had a bit of pressure on him too. A couple of players charging through at him because we've seen what he can do when he runs the football. There's Renoff and Walters trying to get to him. This time finds touch on the left-hand side.
And now we'll have the scrum packing down, 30 metres out from the Broncos line. Johnny Platt to feed. Referee Eddie Ward wants it in again. The front row hasn't packed down properly. Now they go. Platt gets it away to Kilroy coming across from that wing. He straightens it up, but runs into plenty of defence. Knocked back there by Gillies.
Noticeable now, Bill, a lot of sides like to have a big man stand one off the scrum, and McCracken playing in the centres, but still stood in the standoff position, because that's normally where your tackle's made off the scrum. There he is there. He's a big lad. Will make his debut for New Zealand this week, and he's got a special release by the New Zealand Rugby League to be available today.
Platt getting up to play at about 10 metres short of that halfway mark.
Now it's back with Conway with the long spiral punt downfield. Maven is retreating inside his own quarter line, and he'll bring it back beyond that. Well, a lot of anxious people are here waiting for a report on the injury to Gavin Allen. Tony, what is the latest?
Well, it's encouraging news, David, from the Broncos dressing room. Dr. Peter Frist, the Broncos doctor, has just told me that Gavin Allen is on his way to hospital for checks on the neck. The injury is obviously to the neck, but he said all the signs were encouraging. He's got movement everywhere, and at this stage anyway, it does not appear as though any serious injury has been done to Gavin Allen. So that's wonderful news.
Yeah, that's great news, and we wish him a speedy recovery. He's a vital man in this Broncos side. Jared Walters, the penalty.
Penalty for Ewan McGrady. They're going to keep a close eye on him, but you must tackle a man when he's got the football. McGrady did well to go just in front of the defensive line before he puts the kick in. Now have a look at this. A couple of paces. That was important. That committed a couple of defenders. Eddie Ward decided it was tackled without the ball. And a penalty here going to Canterbury Bankstown. Another chance for them to go on the attack.
Jonathan Davis will look for touch on this commentary side of Lane Park. Mentioning about the vital member Allen is to the side. He's played 23 first-grade games, David, since he came into the side last year. 19 wins.
Not a bad win-loss.
Now Lamb bringing Nissen in from the left-hand touchline, steadying on the first tackle. Woody Pete's in a dummy half. Lamb, the playmaker, giving it away to Brokenshire. The big man takes on and commits two Broncos defenders in Madison and Miles. Now taking it upfield is Dean Pay. He slipped the pass out the back door. So the Broncos defence being tested. They trail by 4-0. Peets bringing it open side. It wasn't a good pass. They move it. Pass upfield. Maguire back to Lamb. Lamb got to his feet and scores the try.
That's a great try by Canterbury Bankstown. I'll tell you why, because they had three rucks into midfield. And then even though the fourth ruck play was meant to come open, the ball did bounce on the ground. Now have a look at it here, but they have pushed Brisbane into the far side. The gaps were here. Lamb tries to put Maguire away, puts him into a half gap, back to Lamb again. The tackle was a good one by Gilmeister, but not held. Up goes Terry Lamb, quite entitled to do it. Joey Kilroy runs out of space. Terry Lamb, the try-scoring merchant, comes up with the points. Good pick up, that one from midfield. Lamb, now watch him try and put Maguire in and under the right across the try line, but Renoff does well just to hold him out. Gilmeister needed to hang on for dear life there, but couldn't. Lamb back to his feet, that's okay. Joey Kilroy just hasn't got the room to work in. Terry Lamb has. That's a good Canterbury try.
Let's have another look at it now. Well picked up over there, as you saw, and then here's Lamb. You watch him, he just waits and waits and waits, finally slips it away to Maguire, backs up well. Gilmeister, for all money, had him, but he got up and started going again, and that's a fair try, and Canterbury have a lead of 8 points to 0.
And Canterbury have had the ball twice in the Broncos quarter line, and they've come up with 2 tries. Jonathan Davis with the ball plays. Terry Lamb, of course, last week brought up his 1,000th point in the Canterbury side. What a valuable player he's been over the last 10 or 11 years.
Now Davis from the sideline, he struck it better, but it won't sneak inside this near upright. But the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs lead the Broncos here at Lang Park by 8 points to 0.
Conway with the restart of play. Conway driving it deep. Fielded by the try scorer in Terry Lamb. Play still inside the quarter line as Peach goes into dummy half.
Porto, plenty of talk, of course, before this match with the absence of State of Origin players for the Broncos, but they've still got a very good side on the park. The biggest problem, of course, they got is lack of teamwork. This side, as a side, has not played together this season, obviously, and it would just appear to me that Brisbane are lacking a bit of cohesion in attack and defence. Possessions too, as we mentioned, are important, and Canterbury have got their nose in front. 48.
Here's McGrady once again, breaking away up over the halfway mark, gets it away to Lamb. Lamb looking around, finds the pass, over the top it goes, trying to find a way through. Over there is Maven. They still keep it going, back to McCracken. He gets it away to Lamb again. Lamb sending the pass back inside, but it'll be a Broncos ball. They needed it on that occasion too, because Canterbury putting on some good attack there. Now a penalty to the Broncos.
Holding down. Gene Miles trying to get up quickly to play the ball. Was not allowed to. There's Maven all over the top of Miles. But Canterbury showing what great attack they've got. The bust up midfield again. Ewan McGrady, the backup merchant, Terry Lamb, right beside him. Penalties favouring Brisbane 2-1 at the moment.
Dean Pay is leaving the field. There he is. And who's coming on, Tony?
The hitman in jersey number 40, Kyle White.
Okay, so he's out there for the Canterbury side. Let's see what the Broncos can do with this set of six. Jared Walters up his dummy half. They're 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Walters outside to Gilmeister. Curry keeps it going. Renoff got away from one tackle and another. He's cutting up over the halfway mark. This is good. He's got Jared Walters back inside. Gets it to no one. Ball rolling loose is going to be picked up by Lamb.
Cannot afford to miss opportunities.
No, that was a big chance for them there. Canterbury's lead is 8 points to 0 at this stage. Up his dummy half is Peets. Unloading it nicely this time. Cutting his way up there is Nissan. Going to be knocked over by O'Neill.
They look great with the football today, Billy, Canterbury.
Yeah, they're throwing it around and really giving the Broncos a lot to think about out there. Their attack has been very, very good so far. So here's McGrady. He's been the danger man. Look at the speed of him. He's following it after this one as he kicks through. O'Neill is back there. McGrady will take him. And he'll get up to play at about 10 metres out from his own line. Back to Kilroy. Kilroy's going to be taken care of there by Gillies. Walters. Cross over to Conway. They get up towards the quarter line. Walters again. Tessman. Put to the ground with the tackle over there with broken sharp. Dowling. Gilmeister got away to Platt. He in turn unloads it to Miles. Miles will be tackled by McCracken, who was tackling Platt earlier.
Brisbane still trying to push those little passes inside their own territory.
Here's Conway with a kick downfield now. He's trying to find touch down there. He's going to be a big chance. No, it's going to be cut off there by Maven. He has Davis outside. Decides to go himself and eventually put down just short of the quarter line. Davis from dummy half. So from the play the ball, it's Canterbury in possession. 30 metres out from their own line, and they have a lead of 8 points to nil. As you can see, a beautiful day here at Lang Park today. Plenty of advice coming in from the outer. Get up and get him.
Pretty basic, but he's pretty close to the mark.
Taking up over there is White. Only half is Pete's, and this is the final tackle. So to McGrady. It's a bit of a wobbly old kick on this occasion. His kicking up until now has been outstanding. That's O'Neill. Put over about 10 metres short of the halfway mark. So it's Plowman away from dummy half. Over to Platt. Plowman doubles around. Trying to push his way out of the tackle, but they're right up to the task on this occasion, Canterbury. Walters. Back over to Dowling. Tessman. 10 metres short of the halfway mark. He'll be put to the ground. Dummy half Walters. Outside of Conway. A couple of metres short of halfway, he'll be put down. Walters again. Over there to Madison. G. Miles. Straightening up Miles. Can he unload the pass? Yes, he can, but it's going to be dropped, and Canterbury will come away with it. So a couple of occasions now losing vital possession, the Broncos.
Yes, errors you can ill afford. Canterbury, on the other hand, have been very, very tidy in their attack. Their backup has been excellent, and they're finding a couple of little half chinks in the Broncos' defensive line.
So that's got Tronk. Broncos spilling the ball on 3 occasions as opposed to Canterbury's 2. So it's Pete's up there as dummy half. Away to Lamb. Lamb and McGrady, they're the danger men all right here today. And the kick is going to find touch. Flying through over there was Maven.
Interesting little kick, that one by Terry Lamb. Little chip kick, really. Just trying to get it to, there it is, kicking under the ball, trying to get it to pop up. Didn't quite do it for him as it just scurried into touch.
Now a replacement coming on. Mark Hone for Greg Dowling as the scrum packs down 5 out from the Broncos try line with their loose head and feet, and Plowman takes it 10 metres away from their own goal line. First touch for Mark Holmes, sporting about 8 or 9 stitches in a right cheek here today from a whack on Friday night from that Cronulla game. There's an attempted high hit by Kyle White on Trevor Gilmeister. Now Tessman, 32 out from his own goal line. They'll be looking very soon for Conway. He settles it. Now, who will assume the kicking role?
Julian O'Neill coming in behind the ruck now. Required.
There's the kick by Madison downfield, and retreating is Glenn Nisson. Pretty well weighted. It's well weighted. Now, the chasing game is important for the Broncos. They won't peg Davis in his own in-goal, though. He manages to get it out a metre or 2. Nisson goes to dummy half, but a good chase by Brisbane. Renoff. They'll be needing to strike back very, very soon in this half. We've got around about 13 minutes of play remaining to the half-time break, and the Broncos trail by 8-0. Now Maven has come in from the right wing looking for work. He got away from Platt, trying to beat the players on the outside. Got the pass beautifully back to McCracken. And as David mentioned, will make his test debut. Silly stuff, that.
Really silly. Brisbane have done well to keep their defensive line intact. Plowman came in a bit late here on McCracken. Let's have a look at it. There's Plowman just dropping on him. McCracken objected to it. Plowman went on playing hands everywhere. They're trying to keep it quiet. That's not the way to do it.
Well, particularly when they've done so well with the chasing game and have Canterbury pegged out inside that quarter line. This just releases the pressure valve and allows them to get up towards halfway again.
Real dumb penalty.
You have to say about McCracken making his test debut. His father, of course, David, was a pretty talented player himself. Ken McCracken played 14 test matches for New Zealand.
His son is now at least start to follow in his father's footsteps, and he's shown today that he's a competent young man.
His father was a winger, when Jarrett played in the first 7 games on the wing before putting the new position in the centres. But big raps coming from Canterbury on his performances so far this year in his debut season in the Winfield Cup. Now broken shy at the halfway line. Tessman was in there, so too with Gilmeister. Away for Terry Lamb. Very effective kicking game by the Bulldogs here today. And back goes Plowman. They've kicked on 10 occasions. And they've got good field position on nearly every one of them.
Well, it's no secret that Brisbane play their best football in the opposition territory, as do most sides, of course, but Brisbane even more so. They like to throw it around. Canterbury are going to follow that tactic right to the end of the day, kicking deep and keeping Brisbane deep inside their territory.
Well, Home got beyond the advantage line on that occasion. Let's see what Tessman can do. Yes, he's got through and takes it up towards halfway. Good running by the two top forwards. Now Walters a dummy half. Away for Platt. He stepped off the right foot, but there was no room to get through there. It's on the final tackle. It'll go back to Madison. Madison kicking it deep again. Davis fielded it well, about 5 out from his own goal line. Playing in only his 3rd match in the Winfield Cup. It was witnessed and attracted him to the rugby league scene after playing many test matches for not only Wales but the British Lions. There's a good run by McCracken. Pass has gone astray, and this gives Brisbane a great chance now. They're just outside the attacking quarter. 11 minutes of play remains in the first half, and the Broncos desperate to get on the board, and a penalty will help them. Canterbury up inside the 5, and King by Eddie Ward.
Jim Miles will be forced to take the 2 points here. They would have liked a bit of a roll on to try and attack Canterbury inside their quarter, but quite happy for Conway to have a shot.
Conway so far, none from 1. And Davis, none for 2. Big solid lad, Bobby Conway. Ex-Mudgee College rugby union player. As Bill mentioned, missed a couple of games this year. He suffered a couple of bad bouts of concussion earlier this year. He kicked splendidly last Friday night. So the possession totally dominated by Canterbury. And most of the possession held by the Broncos a bit in their own half.
Yeah, they've done it tough, Brisbane, in terms of territory. But this kick, very important, 10 to go in the first half. Brisbane down 8-0.
So Conway with a chance to strike back for the Broncos. About 21 metres out. And he's made it none from 3.
So we'll see play come back onto the quarter line.
2, I should say. Billy, my mathematics not all that good today.
I was wondering when you found that other one. So Canterbury leading by 8 points to 0. There's another change in the Canterbury lineup. Tony Durkin.
Yeah, the former Brisbane East back rower Darren Smith on Billy for Canterbury. He's on for Mark Brokenshire.
So that's Joey Kilroy taking it up to about a metre short of the halfway mark. He's been hurt in the tackle.
And he did run into Kyle White.
Yes, and that is not recommended. Kyle White, a very, very physical player. Darren Smith on the field is also a very talented player and must have been on the verge of State of Origin selection. Gary Larson got the nod for the first one, and he hasn't looked back.
So that's Tessman with it now. Kieran Walters away from dummy half, gets it away to Gilmeister.
Forward pass. Brisbane really just aren't combining well at all, Bill. They're making silly errors. Gilmeister frustrated. There's the pass up, definitely forward. Canterbury with a chance. McGrady standing at 5'8".
So in by Lamb. Over to McGrady. Davis. Trying to get up there, but O'Neill is right on him. And wraps him up well. So Canterbury have that lead of 8 points to 0 at the moment here at Lang Park. Getting it underneath on that occasion was Terry Madison. Taking the crossover is Kyle White. Dummy half Peaks. Well, he is there somewhere. Now it's going to be another penalty to Canterbury.
Kerrod Walters here caught at the base of the ruck. He must clear that ruck area. Kerrod Walters there had affected the tackle. And he tries to roll away. He's trapped by the hooker and Geordie Peets.
I think he was conned too.
Well, the onus is on the tackler to clear that ruck area, and Brisbane often get penalised for it.
So here's Canterbury about to go on the attack again.
You saw there, Bill, a new application of the rules in play now, where the referee stands on the tap mark now, and the penalty mark, and the touch judge momentarily dashes back on the defensive line, the 10 metres. I really can't understand what's so significant about that. They're going to do it. Why don't they do it the whole time when the 5 metres is under threat?
So now it's Smith there with the ball for Canterbury. Peets back over to Lamb. They keep it going, and nice work too, cutting his way through over there is White.
Oh, off the ground, that's foolish.
And Terry Lamb is furious with him.
Well, young fellow, he's come on as a fresh reserve and just hasn't quite got the pace of the game at the moment, and endeavouring to offload. Well and truly the tackle had been affected, and Brisbane get a breather. They've given Canterbury plenty of chances, and they've got one back.
So they'll take the tap 20 metres short of the halfway mark.
Well, that touchdown to the far side went back to the 10 to check on it, David, and they moved about 5 yards up in front of it.
Well, I think it's just ludicrous, Fordo. The emphasis shouldn't be there at all. They also do it at scrums now too, but it really should be all the time.
So now it's Gene Miles trying to find a way through, but he's got to be wrapped up just on the halfway mark.
No different. No different.
Penalty hit of the Broncos. Conway will kick the touch.
Simon Gillies caught exactly the same way. Plaffy has been watching the opposition very closely. He's a quick learner. A trip over this fellow, get a penalty, and he was right.
So the kick is going to find touch. 20 metres inside Canterbury territory. Now Canterbury lead by 8 points to 0. Let's see what they can do from here. Gilmeister. Going half waiting for it is Walters. Hone. Try to get the pass away, knocked down. It's going to be a Canterbury ball. Peets will end up with it. So a chance for the Broncos going bigging again.
Yeah, now it's time to start panicking. 5 minutes to go in the first half.
Peets waits there as dummy half. 25 metres out from the Canterbury line. Little right. Rather, it was Darren Smith on that occasion. Got Tronk. Still about 25 metres out from the Canterbury line. Picked up by McGrady. Newson. Final tackle. Davis. He'll swing it out of McGrady. Back it goes the other way. This time it is Davis. Big kick downfield. O'Neill is back there. Took it very calmly. Decides to run it out now. But it's going to be put to the ground on the tackle over there by Peets. So just under 5 minutes remaining, and Canterbury's lead is 8 points to 0.
And they certainly have dominated territory in this first half, the Bulldogs. And now a chance for Brisbane to try and work it across the halfway line. 8 times they've kicked in general play, the Broncos, but it hasn't been effective kicking in general play. They've been under pressure all the time. Here's a good ball for Gilmeister. Back this time. O'Neill was backing up. Curry was the man that took the tackle. Now it goes to Madison, turning it back in field. Could have easily been ruled forward that one as well. Now Conway to the quarter line, centre field. It's on the final tackle. What will the tactics be? It'll go to Miles. Popped it back in again. Kerrod Walters popped it away. It's a Canterbury ball.
Brisbane elected to run the blind side on the 5th tackle. There was opportunities here, but they turned it back on the inside, surprisingly. Ultimately, Kerrod Walters got in behind the defensive line. Had to try a desperate over-the-head pass. And once again, Canterbury just cling on.
Now McCracken.
Good solid defence. Having Curry, a trademark of his game. There's an error that Brisbane are looking for.
On both ways, I think.
But it will be loose head and feed to the Broncos.
3.5 minutes to go up to half-time. Brisbane will not get a better chance than this one. There's a little knock-on at the dummy half by Maven.
I just wonder whether Miles will think about exploiting that blind side. He's got a good position to attack down that blind. If they can get the ball, well, he's picked the ball up from the back and attacked on the open.
Got it half right, Fordo, anyway.
Now, Miles over the quarter line and the penalty. Well, again, he'll be forced to take the 2 points. I think Miles would have liked to see the effective 6 come in.
Yep, there's only minutes remaining up to half-time.
Well, there's a little bit of Warren Ryan that's still left over in Canterbury, I can tell you. Well, Terry Madison, after Conway's unsuccessful attempts, he has a chance to post his 350th point in first-grade football in Winfield Cup matches. So far this year, he's kicked 19 goals from 27 attempts.
Fordo, I agree with you too. Definite Warren Ryan tactics coming out there. Canterbury Bankstown intentionally offside. prepared to sacrifice the 2 for fear of losing 6 right on half-time, and with intentional breaches of the rule such as that, the referee has every right to utilise the bin. Reward not on that occasion, but it's not the first time Canterbury have done it today.
So Madison, a chance to go once again into the record books for the Brisbane Broncos. He's got it high into the air, he's missed it. So goal kicking letting the Broncos down, and they trail by 8 points to 0. So both sides blessed with outstanding goal kickers, and no one so far has been on target.
With a bit under 2 minutes to go, Brisbane still with a chance to post their first points of the match.
So O'Neill.
I'll be tempted to switch O'Neill and Curry in the second half. Tony Curry, a very, very competent fullback, getting plenty of work. He's the fullback. And O'Neill, I think, might feel a little bit more comfortable in the centres.
Now Conway. Here's a chance. The pass is astray, and once again they turn over the ball at Canterbury's end of the ground.
Graceful play by Brisbane. Conway trying to look for Plowman. He was in the process of jumping a fallen player at the time. The ball went nowhere near him.
David, we talk about what an outstanding support player Terry Lamb is, but I think from memory, on 3 or 4 times they've turned over possession. It's been Lamb who has tidied the ball up for Canterbury at that end of the field as well.
You're right, Fordo. One of the big pluses with Terry Lamb is he follows the ball whether his team's got it or not. And as you say, he's been there a number of times to tidy up for the Bulldogs. He's the experienced player, and even now still pointing out who should take the next ruck.
Well, they're right on halfway, the Bulldogs. We're into the final 30 seconds of the first half, and Lamb driving it deep downfield. O'Neill and Kilroy. It'll be Kilroy who'll pick it up. Takes on the defence and takes it beyond the quarter line. The time is going to beat the Broncos in this first half. As far as getting on the points on the scoreboard is concerned, Platt 32 out. Walters is a dummy half. So we've seen 2 tries scored in the first half. One by Ewan McGrady, the other by Terry Lamb, and it's not unusual to see those 2 names on the score sheet at the end of any Winfield Cup round for Canterbury Bankstown. 2 prolific scorers. Jared Walters floating the pass for Renouf, the last throw of the dice in the first half for the Broncos. Renouf will be forced to take the tackle, and at half-time the Bulldogs lead the Broncos at Lang Park by 8 points to 0. We'll be back with more action in the MMI Big Game in just a moment.
Has he been in reserve a few times?
I know that he started.
Was there when Willie was there?
No. Oh, got the shit.
8-0.
Benny would have just told him it was 0 all at half time.
Forget it. Don't look at the scoreboard again. He'll try and get it switched off.
And the exciting new Rangers business system at NEC. Just off the products.
Hasn't even put Curry to fullback.
Hadn't listened to you at all.
What chance have they got?
Was that your big ploy, wasn't it?
Tactics. Supercade. Might not work, it'll be something different, that's what they need. How much?
Poor two.
Getting ready for the second half of this match. An 8-point deficit for the Broncos at this stage. And David Wright, they want to get their act together a bit in the second half.
Sure will, Bill. They'll need their share of possession because in the first half they were on the deficit side there. They had to do more tackling than the Canterbury Bankstown side. 122 by Brisbane to 108 by Canterbury. Top tackling performances by Gilmeister and Kerrod Walters for Brisbane, and by Gillies and Maguire by Canterbury.
Okay, so there's a kick-off there by Conway. And Greg Dowling is back on the field in the second half, taking the place of Train. So now it's Canterbury with Patmore there, about 15 metres out from his own line.
3 tackles already by John Platt in the second half.
So the defence is right up on the ball at this stage, keeping Canterbury down inside their own quarter. It's Dean Pay. Here's McGrady. Straight back there to Julian O'Neill. Takes it nicely. Running across field trying to get away from that Canterbury defence, but they're up there to take care of him. Played forward by O'Neill. Up over the halfway mark. Hurt in that tackle.
Probably wished he didn't play it forward, actually, when Dean Pay got a hold of him. And well, I hope he's... the touch judges come on too to report an illegality. The keenness certainly there of Julian O'Neill, but heavily hit there by Dean Pay and then dumped into the ground. Was it Kyle White who made the tackle? It was. And he's getting a caution. Julian O'Neill getting a little bit of attention by Kelvin Giles, the trainer. He's okay. And Brisbane with a chance to go straight on the attack. Conway to look for touch.
Yes, he's lining up about 10 metres inside Canterbury territory. Here's O'Neill, who he really felt that tackle.
Well, it was touched. He didn't even find touch cleanly there, Bob Conway. The ball was touched in the field of play, but knocked on and therefore loose head and feed Brisbane.
So the scrum will be some 18 metres out now from the Canterbury line. Broncos lining up very deep. Plath will get it across to Madison. The knock. Trying to find a gap, but can't. Put down right on the quarter line. Away from dummy half this time is Madison. Dummy half for a knock. Here's a chance now for the Broncos. If they go out to the right, they've got plenty of men out there. That's the way they go. Back over inside. Still going is Gene Miles, but he's going to be wrapped up. Terry Lamb is there.
Great cover there by Canterbury.
So Walters coming up as dummy half. Doubling around again, Walters. Oh, it's going to be intercepted by McGrady. He sweated on that one.
He sure did, and he's not a fella to treat lightly. He could have gone all the way there. Brisbane just enough to get to him. Here's the intercept, the long pass. McGrady took it on his chest. Just enough Brisbane players back to cover. Very fortunate.
So Canterbury leading at this stage by 8 points to 0. Trying to find a way around there is Steve Maven, but he's put down about 8 metres short of the halfway mark. So back over there this time to Smith. Eventually put down just inside Broncos territory. Tackles here, the top for Canterbury Gillies and Gilmeister top for the Broncos. So they keep it going now. Oh, lost by Davis. Ball rolling on the ground will be picked up by McGrady.
Terry Lamb realising he was in offside position, did the right thing not to pick it up. It'll be a changeover.
So this is Kilroy taking it up now. There's the drop ball by Davis.
And Joey's lost it.
But it's going to be a penalty reaped out of his hands. Tony Durkin down on the touchline. What's the story at the half-time break?
Well, naturally, Bill, Wayne Bennett, the Broncos dressing room, very, very disappointed in their first half performance. He says you're beating yourselves with mistakes. He wants Tony Curry and Renoff and Kilroy. He wants them fed more. He wants the ball out wider. He said don't force the pass and you don't have to score on the first tackle. Chris Anderson, conversely, very happy with Canterbury's situation. He felt they dominated the first half. He wants them to kick deep, play the game in Brisbane's territory. But the Canterbury trainer told me that they're feeling the effects of the heat here at Lang Park, Canterbury, so maybe they might try towards the end.
I'm not surprised, Tony. It's a pretty warm day here today. So Walters comes up at dummy half. They're inside the Canterbury quarter. Back over to Dowling, to Miles. Miles got away from the tackle over there of Patmore. So now can the Broncos take it on from here? Walters to dummy half. Back over to Madison. Outside to Platt. He's tackled by Terry Lamb. Got it back to Madison, doubling around nicely. Madison going for the break, but has pulled out a few metres out. He'll get up to Fayette O'Neill away from dummy half, trying to force his way for that line. He's getting up to it, but he won't be able to get the ball down. He's about a metre short of it. Final tackle. Dummy half Walters. Kicks across field. It's going to be taken back there by Gene Miles. Gino's going to put a little grubber kick into the in-goal area. Davis is back there for Canterbury. Can they get him in that in-goal area? Yes, they can, and down he goes.
Bit of more good luck and good management. Kick across the field by Kieran Walls was a shocker. Gene Miles was fortunate enough to be on the end of it, and then he put in a better kick, and Jonathan Davis not quick enough to get away from Joey Kilroy.
And also, the Broncos continue to struggle against Canterbury Bankstown. It's been one of the bogey sides since they came in 1988. In fact, Canterbury won the first two at Lang Park and Belmore. And the Broncos' only win was against them at Belmore last year as Plowman takes it up. That was 26 points to 8 last year. But the Bulldogs have got away to a handy 8-0 lead in this match in 1991. Now, Conway in the middle of the quarter line. They've got an option to go either side now, the Broncos. They will go to the right through Dowling. Platt tried to stand and unload, but it appeared very little pattern out there in attack by Brisbane. Walters darts out of dummy half and milks the penalty.
They still should take the two. Plenty of time to go. They've had 3 shots already unsuccessfully. But at this stage, 2 points, and the crowd don't like it, but Miles is...
he's got no option, David, at this stage, has he?
He really must go for those 2 points. 8-0 deficit. They really do need to grab back the 2.
So Conway has once again rested the goal-kicking responsibility away from Terry Madison. Conway none from 2, Madison none from 1, and Jonathan Davis none from 2 for Canterbury.
Well, we have said you've got to take the 2, but it hasn't happened as yet, has it?
An attempt.
So a chance for the Brisbane side to get their first points on the board. Conway, 23 metres out, about 15 metres in from touch on the Frank Burke stand of the ground that will host the Origin decider on Wednesday night between New South Wales and Queensland. And what a match that should be. Brisbane, of course, have 8 representatives in the clash on Wednesday. The kick from Conway is off target again. Davis allows it to go dead in goal. Play will come back to the quarter line. And so the goal-kicking woes of Bob Conway. It's amazing what a week can do. Last week, 5 from 5. Today, none from 3. Well, one of the players who will carry a huge responsibility, the Queensland side, and maybe earn a test cap on Wednesday night is Steve Walters of the Canberra Raiders. He's with Tony Durkin touchline.
Yes, Steve, David Fordham just mentioned a test cap just around the corner. Do you think of things like that at this stage?
No, mate, I'm thinking about winning the State of Origin series at the moment, 2-1, and Canberra winning the match today. That's about all at the moment.
Well, good news at half-time anyway from Bruce Stadium, up 4-0.
Yeah, that was great news, you know. Certainly be a good day if we can get a win up down there. And well, I shouldn't be hoping it, but I certainly hope the Broncos get a win up. It's a bit hard with Kieran and Kevin there.
Mate, they haven't been very impressive, have they, the Broncos, so far?
No, not so far. They're missing a few goals and they're probably a little bit flat, but there's a long way to go yet. And I think they've started off the second half a lot better anyway.
And you're ready for Wednesday night?
yeah, looking forward to it.
All the best.
Thanks very much, mate.
He's had a terrific series so far. O'Neill, he's had a pretty confident debut. Hit the line very hard on that occasion. The final tackle, Terry Madison puts it in the air. It's out towards Nisson's wing. It's a Brisbane ball. It was touched by Canterbury, but the referee will rule the turnover.
Well, that's amazing. He's ruled there that Brisbane, I think, his other rule, it wasn't at any stage touched by Canterbury. Now, Plaffy gets a hold of it, pops it out the back, and then it was definitely touched there by Canterbury. Brisbane get a hold of it again. Eddie Ward saw it the other way. Canterbury now to work their way out again.
So, no change to the half-time score. 8 points to 0 in favour of Canterbury Bankstown. 2 tries to 0. In the first 40, Glenn Nisson was a hero in that 88 victory. Scored a fabulous try in that grand final against Balmain. Was knocked around with injuries over the last couple of years. Now Lamb. Fabulous player, Terry Lamb, and he's got the pass away for Maven. In fact, it was for Patmore, and quite correctly, Eddie Ward right on the spot, right in line with us as well, and he ruled the pass was forward.
Well, that's a critical call by Eddie Ward. Patmore does well here to brush away from Joe Kilroy as it comes back on the inside. Let's have another look at it. Fires the pass up. Oh, gee, nothing in it. Eddie Ward right on the spot to call it. Brisbane fortunate.
So the scrum will back down just inside Canterbury's end of the ground. And 10 minutes of play gone here at Lang Park, and it's still Canterbury with that 8-point lead.
And it'll be Plath coming around the open side, but he's going to be pulled to the ground over there by Gillies.
Brisbane very indecisive. They just seem to be lacking cohesion. They'll just need someone to just take this game by the scruff of the neck.
Here's Tony Curry, a couple of metres inside Canterbury territory. Ran off from dummy half. It's going to be a penalty now to Canterbury.
Curry there trying to play the ball forward, but Eddie Ward signalling, picking the ball up in the ruck. You can play the ball in any direction. Let's have a look at it. Well, he didn't have a marker instantaneously, so Eddie Ward deciding, though, that Smith was on the spot. He cannot pick the ball up in the ruck. Ruck being formed by the 4 feet of the marker and the man playing the ball. And Canterbury now with a chance to go on the attack. The first chance they've had in the second half after 11 minutes.
They lead at this stage by 8 points to 0.
That's significant, Bill. Brisbane have had all the possession in this second half and have done nothing with it.
So let's see what Canterbury can do with it. That's Terry Lamb. He in turn gets it away to Gillies. Wrapped up about 30 metres out now from the Broncos line. Taking him up there is Scott Tonk to the quarter. Coming half is Peets. Back to McGrady. Fox darting up the centre. Very elusive, this fella. Peets to dummy half. Terry Lamb. There it goes, up in the air from Lamb. This is a good kick too. Back there in the in-goal area to take it will be Plowman.
Well thought out that. That's on the full Plowman, so he's done well to take it and hang on under pressure. Had he lost the ball here, could have been dangerous. He fumbled for a moment, but he did well. Tapped by Brisbane.
So that's Walters. Lost back behind him. Picked up there by Plath. Plath in turn tackled about 30 metres out from the Broncos line. Gilmeister. Big run by Gilmeister. Back to Miles. Then away to Curry. Curry looking for support. No one at home. Put down just short of the halfway mark.
Plowman asleep.
So back it goes to Plowman this time. He cuts back inside. Got away from Maven's tackle. Can't get away from McCracken, however. Garrett Walters. Madison outside to Conway. Conway up the centre. Still going is Conway. Dummies beautifully. He's got Plath outside. He's still going though. It's going to be pulled out about 15 metres out. Good run by Conway. So here's the Broncos on the go. This is Gene Miles. He gets it away outside to Gilmeister. Bumped into the post. Is in for the try, but gee, he really hit that upright.
Wow, it's hard enough beating the opposition, let alone the post. Just as well it was wrapped in the 4X padding there. Gillies come charging onto a ball from Gene Miles. He is okay. The axe.
How's the goalpost pass?
He's almost cut down the goalpost. Let's have another look at it. Great run by Conway to get it to there. Didn't throw a silly pass. Miles searches his way through some straggling defenders. Gilmeister into the gap. Brushes off one. Spins around. Oh, just as well that was powdered. Hit the 4th X. X marks the spot. He saw 4 of them. Let's have a look at it. There's Miles again. Straight on. Good straight running by Gilmeister. Rushes away from Lamb and the goalposts. Gilly wasn't going to let it go. That's Broncos hitting back.
Yeah, and it was needed. Man of the match against Cronulla last week, and he's making a habit of scoring tries. He scored one against the Sharks last week, and a rebound off the post gives him another one against the Bulldogs.
It doesn't get better as it goes on. The old Mellons have been in about a bad shape.
He got hit by Mr. Forex.
So now we'll see the kick from Conway. He's got to get this one, surely. He sure does. So it's 8 points to 6 now. Canterbury leading the Broncos here at Lane Park. So back here at Lane Park, that's the scoreline, and there's one of our former greats in Johnny Rhodes.
An old Canterbury player himself, Bill.
Yep. He's up north these days, but he was in town on Friday, along with a lot of other rugby league greats, to a Carbine Club luncheon. There's some big names around there, David.
Certainly was. From the past and present, we had the entire Origin side there, and it was great to see Ripper Doyle there as well.
You betcha.
Ripper, of course, has just overcome an operation, and I know that he's a firm watcher of the Sunday night replays here on 10. Well, Ripper, we hope you're enjoying the action today from Lane Park.
Penalty here will go to Brisbane. Let's have a look at it. Kerr bowls a dash out of the dummy half position. Heavy tackle over the top. Geordie Pete's the offender. And Brisbane could well be sparked into a bit of action here. They're now back in the match at 8-6. They promised so much and have delivered so little to date. But now they are a side that runs on a bit of confidence. That try should give it to them.
Well, they've got great support at Lane Park because there is an interstate rugby match on the road, up the road at Ballymore today, which would take a few away from Lane Park, but a crowd of just under 19,000 here. Fabulous support, and they're starting to rise as the Broncos go on the boil. It's Conway, and Platt was taken out, I thought, without the football. And referee Eddie Ward agrees.
Let's have a look. It's certainly the ruling he's given, but I thought Plath was under pressure with this pass from Conway. That looked okay to me, actually. Brisbane got the penalty, though. There'll be a few complaints coming from Canterbury. Patmore it was. It came in with a big tackle. Conway had popped the pass up.
He was committed in defence, in all fairness, David, wasn't he?
Yes, I think he was. And Eddie Ward taking up a position in midfield at the time. Slightly unsighted. The crowd certainly gave all indications, and Johnny Platt still getting attention.
So Miles has decided for Conway to have another go for the 2 points. Johnny Platt he was hit very heavily, but quite legally. If the referee ruled the other way, that in fact he took him out without the football. So the attempted penalty will be from 33 metres out, nearly directly in front of the post, and Tony Durkin, no breeze at all here at Lane Park today to have any effect on this kick.
Absolutely none whatsoever. As Billy said, it was fairly warm earlier on, Fordo, but it's cooled down quite a bit, but no breeze whatsoever. So Bob Conway, if he misses this, can only have himself to blame.
Well, a chance to draw level. They've trailed right throughout this football match. From the moment that McGrady went over for the first try, Lamb compounded Brisbane's problems with another try. As the Canterbury bench looks on, only one successful kick from 7 attempts on either side of the field today. Here's Conway. He struck it well. Up go the flags. And it's all tied up here after 18 minutes of the second half. Brady lines up the kick. David, how many times have Brisbane given side start in 91 and got out of jail?
Yes, they've done it a few times. They're going to need to do it again today. They've done well so far in the second half to come back at 8-all. They just seem to be playing with a little bit more determination now. Canterbury starting to fire up as well to try and stop the rot.
Now Kilroy
Well, Canterbury certainly dominated the possession in the first half. That picture tells the story. 31 possessions to Canterbury's 17. And David, that's allowed them to claw their way back into this game.
Yeah, almost 2-to-1 possessions. You can add these few and you've got a better than 2-to-1. Gilmeister having a very good game. I said before, Brisbane, great attacking side. And they're allowed to use the ball and still run in some pretty big scores. There's the 5th tackle.
And we'll be back now with Conway. A kick angling towards touch. Steve Maven allows the ball to bounce inside his own quarter line. Will run across field trying to link up with Davis, but finally took the tackle of Gilmeister.
Steve Maven seemed to have lost just a bit of pace. He was always a big man and seems to even be a bit bigger this year. Switched from South Sydney. Has his job on the wing, but certainly lacks a little bit of dash.
And he's pulled up lame from that tackle as well. So 32 out from their own goal line, the Bulldogs. It's 8-all here at Lang Park. And a penalty.
Well, Eddie Ward being rather pedantic here as Gene Miles tries to step away from the marker position. I don't think interfered in any way at all, did Gene Miles there. The play the ball was a poor one. Eddie Ward finds a penalty and the Bulldogs a chance.
And Maven still receiving attention over on this McCullough stand. He's slowly getting to his feet now. And he's hobbling quite noticeably, isn't he?
Maybe I was a bit unfair on him, Porto. Maybe he did carry a slight injury into the match. Certainly his leg giving him quite a bit of trouble now.
He's trying to run it out and he appears that he may be okay, but we're at the halfway mark of this second half and the ball game is locked up at 8 apiece.
And it's Canterbury in possession about 10 metres inside the Broncos half of the field. Lamb, McCracken, trying to look for support inside, but there's no one at home on that occasion. Tronk. Oh, intercepted this time by Madison. Madison thrown to the ground about 5 metres short of halfway. So from the play the ball, Curry getting it away to Dowling. Dowling up to the halfway mark.
Well, that was amazing. Why would the second row forward be in that second line there, David? It was a bit unlucky for Madison.
Yes,
lucky for Canterbury.
It was really, and Madison did well to read it.
So Walters. Gilmeister. Then to Platt. Platt outside, then to Plowman. He's put down 8 metres inside Canterbury territory. Walters. Madison. Gene Miles. There's the gap and Miles is through it. Look at him go. He's up to the quarter line. He's trying to push away McGrady. He's still going. Flicking his way through. Reynolds there. Dives for the corner. It is a try. Yes, it is.
What a great try by Steve Renoff, one of the smallest blokes in the Broncos side, but still had the strength and skill to get through in a lot of traffic. Gene Miles onto a great pass, went through, held off Ewan McGrady, got almost to the try line, spun around, found Renoff. Renoff in a very, very tight blind side. Madison fires the pass up. Gene Miles the step. We saw him do it last week. He's done it again. Maguire didn't know what to do. Now Ewan McGrady was held off there. Miles kept running forward. That was important. And then Renoff does extremely well. Nissen there to try and knock him in a touch. So was Davis. But he still got down just in the corner. The touch judge was there right on the spot. We'll have a look at Miles again. He does his best work out wide. One-on-one, still almost impossible to stop. Gene Miles then confronted with a cover defender about half his size, held him off and also kept progressing forward. Created a half a chance, not even that for Renoff, and he made it a try.
That's his 6th try for the year. And Broncos back in business, 12 points to 8. So Conway with, well and truly, his toughest shot at goal. Two from 5 is the figure there for Conway today. Notice Scott Tronk leaving the field for Canterbury. So Tronk, or rather Conway. There's Tronk. On his way in now. Let's have a look at this one. Waved away. Well away, actually. So the score remains the Broncos leading by 12 points to 8. Ewan McGrady to restart play. And Tronk's replacement player out there, Tony?
Is Troy Castle from the reserve grade in jersey number 23, Bill.
Thank you. So Broncos in possession just on the quarter line. Back over to Dowling. Well, they certainly got it together in the second half, David.
Very much so, Bill. Intercept by Madison, of course, was very, very important. Canterbury had got a penalty and could have well gone on the attack themselves. Madison turned it around and Brisbane good enough to capitalise.
So this is Dowling. 5 metres short of the halfway mark. Running with a lot of purpose in the second half, the Broncos, and it's paying dividends. This is Gilmeister.
Another very strong game, Gilly.
Well, this is when they needed some big games from a few of these fellows.
Exactly.
That's Conway on the final tackle.
Touched.
Going to be taken back there by Maiden. Tackle over there nicely. Good work again by Gilmeister. Launching another strong claim from out of the match again.
He has to be right up there.
Platt coming in for the tackle this time on Nissen. Dummy half is Peets. Broken Shire.
Well, tackle.
Another big tackle coming in there.
No price for guessing. The axe is at it again.
The accident. Maybe that bump of the head did him the world of good. Here's the kick downfield of Julian O'Neill. He'll take it. Running across field, slips away from the first up tackle of Patmore.
Style of running his Bill with carrying the ball in both hands out in front would suggest that he enjoys playing a little bit closer to the ruck, looking to offload. Tony Durkin, young fellow Julian O'Neill, of course, he's an ex-Australian schoolboy who has played most of his football near the ruck.
He's been 5'8" or centre, right. He played, in fact, centre in that Australian schoolboy side. He was forced out to the centres by a reasonable 5'8", a bloke called Brad Fittler.
We'll see how reasonable he is on Wednesday night. He comes up against the King, and for once, a man bigger than Wally Lewis up against him. Here's Gilmeister.
Gilmeister in the clear for Conway, and once again it was Miles who set it up. Now, blindside, Platt. It's been touched, Gilmeister scooped it back. Now Conway straightens up play.
Not 4-6 to go by Eddie Ward.
It'll be a turnover. Now, important here for Brisbane to try and keep Canterbury pegged down on their line.
And the way to do it is not to give away penalties. It'll take a good side to ruck your way out of here. You don't just allow them. Well, there's a good player.
Like that. Terrific play by McCracken.
Excellent effort. But Brisbane will need to tighten up. The match is still in the balance, 12-8 with 14 to go.
And a couple of game breakers out there have been very obvious, particularly in the first half. Players like McGrady and Terry Lamb, you cannot take your eye off them for one moment. And remembering the Broncos only lead by 4, a converted try puts Canterbury back in the winner's circle. Now Lamb, McGrady. Oh, terrific hit. What a terrific tackle that was.
Kerrod Walters involved, realising the danger. McGrady, you must move to a bloke like McGrady because he's so quick on his feet, and that's exactly what Kerrod Walters did. The only thing he didn't stop was the ball.
Now interchange again. Tony Durkin.
Arcone or Greg Dowling.
Dowling said he'd play until he dropped. He's turned in a pretty strong second half performance, Greg Dowling. He got them going forward. And that was allowed Miles also to capitalise on. There's a good pass. Hone has served up a couple of great balls in the short time he's been on. In the first half he popped up a couple of good ones and another one on his first touch in the second half. Now Platt. Hone is limping though in back play. Platt has taken the Broncos on attack inside the quarter. Walters gets it away from Madison, who took on the defence and is within 5 metres of the try line. Miles is calling for it. Walters went on his own. He's over. Kerrod Walters, his second try of the year, and it could well be the match winner for the Broncos.
That's nailed on. Kerrod Walters out of the dummy half position. Took the opportunity. He has run a couple of times from inside his own territory today. He only had to make 5 metres. He knew exactly what he was doing. Ran, stepped, and then surged forward under the sticks. Miles tries to go left. There, Kerrod Walters dashes out of the right. The step was so important. That created the opportunity just close enough to the try line. The upright was also under threat for a moment. Kerrod Walters steps the tackle from Simon Gillies and then reaches out to score it. Eddie Ward on the spot. Brisbane extend their lead 16-8.
Yeah, he was very keen to get that ball from the dummy half spot and get moving, and he's in for the try, and that gives the Broncos a good break now, 16 points to 8.
Well, it's so important controlling possession of that football. All the points scored by Canterbury in the first half, all the points in the second half scored by the Brisbane Broncos. And as I mentioned, David, it was the domination of possession that led to those stats.
That's right, Porto, and we only have to think back to last Friday week, Brisbane-Cronulla. Brisbane scored all their tries in the second half as well. They tend to sleep a little bit in that first 40 minutes.
16 points to 8. Bobby Conway, 2 from 6. He makes it 3 from 7, and the Broncos lead by 10 points here at Lang Park. Restart play, driving it deep. Platt will receive it from the kick-off and will feed Kilroy. And the crowd come to their feet again as Joey takes it out to the quarter line. Brett LeMan is on the field for Bob Conway. LeMan has had a couple of free changes this year in first grade. This is his 4th appearance. And he's come up with a couple of tries in those short times he's been on the field in first grade. Gilmeister, well, that's silly play inside your own half, and it's allowed Canterbury to come up with vital possession just 25 metres out from the Broncos line.
Coming up as the dummy half this time is McCracken to McGrady. Doubling around McGrady, can't get away from Gene Miles. Second tackle, penalty coming in.
But the man was the man in there late. 10-point deficit, I should say. Canterbury most likely will go for touch because of that.
Jerry Lamb finding it. 23 metres out now from the Broncos line.
Brisbane being told to get back the 10.
Over it comes to Maven. He's wrapped up just inside the Broncos quarter. What they do now. Lamb getting it away to McGrady. Outside to Davis. Davis out of one tackle. Can't get away from the next one though. Well wrapped up over there by Gene Miles.
His jumper's nearly still the same colour as his legs, Bill.
Yes. So here's Canterbury putting on some pressure now as it goes back to Terry Lamb. Outside this time to White. Couple of metres out. Back to McGrady. He dummies, cuts back inside, now gets a pass away. That's going to be a try. Yes, it is.
Brilliant try there by Darren Smith. Once again, Ewan McGrady, the pace of the man creates the opportunity because it caused a little bit of consternation in the defensive line, and then Smith on the spot to surge onto the pass, held up beautifully by Ewan McGrady. Let's have a look at it. The footwork, there it is, held up to perfection. Got into a little bit of traffic, and then Smith does well to juggle and carry it forward. They're back in the match, Canterbury, Bankstown, and from head on you'll see what McGrady can do. Stop, start, and then go again. Darren Smith does well to hold it and get it down.
So now we'll wait for Davis to attempt to convert the try. And he's none from 2 today. Didn't see much of him, David.
He has been quiet from the back. There's 2 players who played their part today, Bob Conway and Greg Dowling. Davis has been quiet from the back and could well get himself involved more.
So now let's see whether he can get the extra 2 points. Kick is on its way. It's there. So it's 18 points to 14. The Broncos leading at Lang Park.
That's not the reserve bench, Bill. He's still just Canterbury supporters, and one is obviously enjoyed a drink or 2 here today as well.
So ready for the restart of play with Julian O'Neill. And only 4 points the difference now. So this match is not over as yet.
Far from it, and Canterbury showing that they can run their way out of their own territory quite comfortably. Brisbane will want to tighten up.
Another change for Canterbury, Tony.
Yes, Geordie Peake, the Canterbury hooker, is off, replaced by number 22, Sean Skelton.
Okay. So now that's Skelton coming up as dummy half, as a matter of fact. Open sharp. There he goes again. Final tackle to Lamb. Now the kick downfield from the 5'8". It's not a bad one. It'll go right back into the in-goal area. O'Neill is back there. He makes it out of the in-goal. Put down a couple of metres away from his own line. So away from dummy half is Plowman. He's kind of bustling his way through again. Dummy half Walters. Over to Hone. Dummy half Walters again. Tessman. Walters. Gilmeister. Final tackle. Now a penalty coming up to the Broncos.
Third occasion we've seen it for exactly this, and it's a very, very important one to Brisbane because that was the last tackle upcoming. Bruce Maguire caught at the base of the ruck. Kerrod Walters couldn't get a clear to go at it. And Brisbane now will look for touch on midfield. Madison, not the strongest kicker in the game, will want to make sure of it.
Well, the clock has stopped here at Lang Park. The final 5 minutes and a poor kick for touch.
The only thing you could say about it was that it did find touch, and that was priority number 1.
Now Kilroy. Got to the advantage line, unloaded to Walters. He left it behind him, and the referee will rule that it was knocked on. So they've turned it over on the first tackle, and that could be a key play in this match.
It will be, Fordo. Here's Joey Kilroy. He does get his hands free. Now, Kerrod Walters should have taken this. Had a look up just at the critical moment. Brisbane will want to play well from here to hold them out. Eddie Ward wants it in again.
18 points to 14. Jonathan Davis has crept up into the line and attack. The line deep. McGrady showed it to Davis. Got it to Patmore. And Renouf and Curry combined in the tackle. Renouf and O'Neill it was, and O'Neill was slow, so they're without a fullback at the moment, Brisbane, as O'Neill retreats to get back into position. Now McGrady. The wrap around with Lamb. That's a beautiful pass for Smith.
Tackle Julian O'Neill. He's hurt.
Now they move it again, McGrady. Darting and weaving. Platt wrapped him up and then bulldogged him to the ground. 15 out. Canterbury on attack. Skelton away for Lamb. That's Castle. Just brushed away the defence. McGrady tidied up by Gene Miles. So a bit of luck for Brisbane.
Well, we gave raps to Terry Lamb, the captain of Canterbury, for his on-the-spot efforts, and here's Gene Miles. He was on the spot to grab that pass in from Ewan McGrady, but Brisbane still under pressure deep inside their own territory.
And it's Gilmeister that tries to get it advanced up the field. Now it's Hone. Strong run by Hone, got 8 or 10 metres.
Don't go into your shell here. You want good, strong, hard running. 5 of them and then kick it downfield. That's a good one.
And Plowman have come in from the left wing to do that. Now we'll look to the downtowner in a moment. LeMan running it crossfield. Secured the football. Now look for Miles or Madison. Good chase.
That'd be offside.
Downfield by Madison. Now Jonathan Davis. Gilmeister says come here to the Welsh former rugby international. Patmore. So Canterbury have just a couple of minutes to try and pull this game out of the fire. They led by 8-0 at half-time. They now trail 18 to 14. This game far from over though. Lamb. That's a good break by White. And Platt's defence was equal to the pass.
Johnny Platt's playing as sweeper and they'll need that.
Now McGrady through the dummy. Back for Castle. Turned it back Lamb. Great play by Lamb for Maven. He's done little in the match, but he's come up with a try that has probably given the Canterbury Bulldogs victory here at Lang Park.
They've snatched it with a minute to go. They've got to kick the goal, of course. It's now 18-all with the kick to come. Beautiful work up midfield. Once again, Ewan McGrady turning the ball back on the inside. Terry Lamb, the backup merchant, was there as well. There's Ewan McGrady. Turns the ball back on the inside. Castle was there as well. Then Terry Lamb. Look at him hold this one up nicely. Took Miles out of play. Maven on the spot. And Maven, who'd done little today, just had enough strength. He's on there for his power. Breaks out of a couple of tackles and goes in under the six. Once again, McGrady sparks it all. Back up the middle of the ruck. Brisbane a little bit sixes and sevens. Plath was caught in the line this time because he had to make a covering tackle a little while earlier. And Maven goes in right beside the sticks. It should be a simple matter for 2 points. And Brisbane have seen it slip away from them. It could well be the place in the final five that slipped as well.
Steve Maven played in the last 5 games for the Bulldogs, his new club. He scored a couple of tries on debut against Newcastle earlier this year. He's come up with his 3rd try of the season, and what a crucial one it is. Remembering that Canterbury on 11 points going to this match, Brisbane on 10. This kick on the Winfield Cup ladder. Jonathan Davis with his 2nd success of the afternoon. He's kicked 2 from 4. And the Bulldogs lead the Broncos by 20 points to 18. Well,
they got to hand it to Canterbury Photo after being down by 18 points to 8 midway through the second half, or even with only 11 minutes to go. They've hit back well with 2 fine tries. Brisbane have gone to sleep, and it's going to be costly.
I made the comment that they're never dead with players like Lamb and McGrady on the field, and they rose to the occasion for Canterbury then. Now, you'll see Terry Lamb, he'll use this clock as well as he can. There'll be no urgency here from Canterbury.
I don't know why Brisbane didn't kick short from that kick-off and try and regain, because there can only be seconds remaining in the match.
It's all over. They led by 8-0 at half-time. They trailed at one stage by 18 points to 8. They have come back, the Bulldogs, and picked up 2 vital premiership points. It's a tough loss for the Broncos. They've got the job ahead of them now in the remaining games in the rounds. They have been defeated here today by the Bulldogs by 20 points to 18. Back in a moment with our man of the match.
Yeah, mate, it looked like they'd got back, but done enough, didn't it?
Yeah, mate. No, you can't relax in front of them.
No.
It's come back all the time.
Mate, you're in the 5 now?
We're in the 5, yeah.
Over here?
When you're ready, Tony.
Todd's, just for the thing, Todd's high five. And I'm ready when you are. Oh, he should. I don't fancy him, you know.
Oh, you don't kiss me.
He's done a few. He knows how to stand everything, Bar. He's done a few of these.
He's got me tippy toes like this.
5, 4, 3, 2.
And with me a very proud and pleased Canterbury captain Terry Lamb. And Terry, it looked like when they got back to 18-8 that they might have had it sewn up.
Yeah, well, you know, we had our heads down behind the goalpost, and they really came back well, like Brisbane does. And we stuck to our guns, kicked downfield, and our defence was good, and we made the breaks.
Mate, you did seem to go to sleep there early in that second half, though.
Yeah, we've done it probably, you could say, every match this year. We go to sleep at 5-minute, 10-minute period, where good teams don't do that, and we'll have to figure that out at training.
Well, you're a good team because you're now in the 5, equal there with a couple of teams, so things looking pretty good.
Yeah, we're ahead of schedule now, so we've got to win the next, hopefully 2 out of the next 3 games to get up in the top 3.
Well, ahead of schedule. Today you picked up a compact display, but I believe you've just bought one. I'm sure Todd's Hi-Fi can look after you with something else.
Appreciate that, and thank you very much, Todd's Hi-Fi. Thank you. Ta, mate.